Joe Gallagher, thanks for your time today. It's been, probably, I don't know, maybe 10 years since I last interviewed you.
Did you? Wow.
I've been there before, but I actually think I started doing videos before Coogan did. So that was
Yeah.
him and me back in those days.
Wow.
Yeah, but I gave up, but I'm back again.
No, I bet you wish you stuck out it the way that Coogan's gone on now, won't you?
That's all right. I wish I did, but I'll get there again.
Yeah.
So, can you explain the role of a trainer and why so many people don't seem to get far? So I think you've done extremely well as a trainer, but obviously a lot of people come into boxing and they don't achieve the things they want to achieve.
What, as a fighter or as a trainer?
As a trainer.
I don't know really. I think it's so time consuming being a coach and a professional boxing coach. It's your life. You don't have a life, it's all boxing. And I think the sacrifices you have to make, consistency, discipline, and in my personal experience, it was always, at times I always say to my fighters, if I'm wanting it more than you, we have a problem. Because the desire and the intent of me wanting my fighters to be the best that they can be was huge, and I've tried to drag every ounce of success, talent, ability out of the fighters that I've had over the years. If you look at Scott Quigg, Anthony Collar, Liam Smith, Callum Smith, Tasha Jonas, Callum Johnson, always a bit, just Matthew Macklin, just dragged them. Some of them were written off, never had down to be a world champion or anything else, but we've got to be singing on the same hymn sheet. And I think trainers, there's a lot of very talented trainers in the UK, and a lot of them don't get the credit that they deserve. There's an awful lot of talented amateur coaches, and they're the ones that really, that's where I started from as an amateur coach, come through. They're the ones that get them at first. They're the ones that instill the discipline and the skill set, and to put them on the right road, and they go through the amateur program, and then they turn over professional, or they go to the Olympics. But them amateur coaches are the ones that bring them through. I'd gone through the amateur system and then decided to turn pro because I felt I wanted to challenge myself against the best trainers in the world. That was my mindset at the time. It was like, well, I've won ABA champions, I've got a kid to the Olympics, won schoolboys, junior ABAs, right? I want to go and pit my wits against the best in the world, which at the time was Brendan Ingle or Jimmy Tibbs and Enzo Calzaghe. So that was my mindset at the time as a coach, as a challenge. And with that, then you've got to make sure you've got fighters on board that want that same goal as you, that want to be the best. And at the end of the day, like I've always said to my fighters, and we've seen it in the past with people who we've fought, it's no shame losing if you've given it all your best.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than coming out and going, you know what, if I would have done them runs, or if I would have had more notice, or I would have done my weight right, I would have done that. You can't live on excuses. You've got to go in there and give it all. If you lose, just put your hands up and, you know what, I can sleep well at night. I give it my best, and at the end of the day, we just lost to the better man. And that's all I ask for, really, that we're both singing from the same hymn sheet. And it's very much like a relationship. No matter what relationship you're in with, it's always a two-way thing. If you're always putting it in, or the woman's always putting it in, or your partner's putting it in, and you're not giving back, that's not going to last that much long. They're going to be sick of this, not getting back out of it. And I think that's the very same which is in a boxer-trainer relationship. Both parties have both got to want it as much as each other, and willing to both put forward everything in together.
Okay, that's a very detailed answer.
Okay.
Let me ask you about a very mysterious word when they say boxing politics. So you hear it a lot. I want you to sort of explain boxing politics for the people watching. And let me sort of make a quick point. I think I'm a very bright guy, so the way I approach boxing, take a look at everyone. Like I play chess, I do different things. Meet people, see what they're about, but don't put too much of yourself into someone, if that makes sense. Actions speak louder than words. And so I've had a lot of people, they'll say this, they'll say. I've had people give me their number and say, yeah, come do this, do that. But then when you call them, it's like they don't want to be called. I'm like, well, yeah. So I've had very awkward, sometimes you do get awkward situations. Yeah. So I learn from it, and I just say, I don't take it personal, but I just say, I'm not going to deal with that person again. Have you thought about? Have you tried to have that approach towards boxing? And look, I'll explain what I'm trying to say. It's like when sort of you had disagreements with Eddie Hearn. If it was me, I'm not trying to make it a negative interview, but I wouldn't really react to things like someone lied. If I thought I was being messed around or whatever, I just know not to trust you again. And that's a bit I'm going all over the place.
No, yeah.
I think you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand. I think obviously that situation, that time, we were in a lockdown situation. There was people getting work. There wasn't the money for fighters. Allegedly, I was being told, and that wasn't the case. And in the gymnasium, I've got 6, 7, 8 title fighters that want to fight, and what I call them were little pressure pots, and they were beginning to bubble and overload because they weren't getting dates. And I was going to the gym every day and motivating them, inspiring them, and telling them to stay in the gym. The phone will ring, and then the phone would ring, and then the money was being offered was not what they should be or what they were used to, and the fighters were. So I was consuming this every day, and eventually I became the boiling pot, and I sort of like said what it was. And at the same time of the day, I have a relationship with my fighters that maybe that's still the amateur coach in me, that these are still somebody's child. These still have to go out there, still have to work, and have to bring home food up for the table now. They've got a family support and everything else, and I don't really like to see kids being taken advantage of. I say kids, but the grown men, they're in the 30s, late 20s, some of families, married and kids. I still view them as kids in a sense. Do you know what I mean? You've got I'm father, but a sense of responsibility to look after them and make sure that they're not getting the wool pulled over their eyes. So I've always said I'm never got to stand back and watch a wrong be wronged. It just isn't me. I just can't have it, and I won't have no part of it. And when I feel that strongly about something, then in boxing is a funny sport. It's a macho sport. We have warriors, we have fighters. Warriors is a big word, but we have fighters. Warriors are people that go out and serve for the country and go to war. They're warriors. But we've got fighters that excel in the sport. But it also is a sport full of insecure people, and that's mad in this type of sport. And I always say, and I'll give you an example of this. Sky Sports at the moment now, their pundit team at football is Roy Keane, Mikey Richards, Graham Souness, Marshall Carragher, and them four people tune in to go, oh, what's it what Roy Keane says now and everything else. But Sky put that in and people tune in because they tell it how it is. Manchester United afterwards don't phone Sky and go, get Roy Keane off, he slagged us off, or slagged Maguire off, or slagged De Gea off. Sky go, no. What we have in boxing is or did have, it's changing slowly but surely. We have sometimes people doing punditry that's annoying the casual fans and people at home trying to tell a story or a narrative that isn't really what the truth is. So I was telling to someone the other day, what someone said to me, they said, imagine if boxing had that and had myself, Mark Tibbs, Peter Fury, and say Adam Booth, hypothetically, us four as punditries. I said, what promotional team would so if there was a show this weekend or last weekend and we were sat there and Peter Fury goes, well, that wasn't a good fight and they need to learn this and they need to do that, and some Adam Booth would say something, or Mark Tibbs would say something, or I'd say something, that promoter would lose and say to Sky, DAZN, BT, whoever, get them off.
Yeah, I know.
Get them off. And it's like, but why? That's just being honest, and that's what people at home want to hear. So I wish boxing can be like that, and that's when I say about insecure people. But the broadcasters, your BTs, your DAZNs and your Skys, should kick back and go, no, we control this, we give you the money, we give you the dates, and they're calling out your product, your service, and we're not going to be kidded by it, and we want our viewers to say it. So it's just a shame boxing can't have what football has, where people can just call it how it is. No, he lost that fight, or his performance was bad tonight, he needs to do more work here. And I think if we did that, I think it'd be so refreshing, instead of trying to tell a story just to appease whose show it is, if that makes sense.
No, it's excellent. That's something. It brings me on to another question. Let me see. How can I phrase it? I'm a very straightforward, honest person. So I'm a lot different from most people in boxing. I don't mind picking. If I think you're going to lose, I don't mind telling you to your face. And the way I'd explain it, I'm a 31-year-old man. I've been around boxing since I was 16. I'm not saying I get everything right, but if you're talking about Dave Allen versus Luis Ortiz, or if you're talking about Kell Brook versus Golovkin, I don't mind telling you to your face, like, that's a silly fight. It's a mismatch. I don't see how you're going to win. And as you say, a lot of the people in boxing where they're insecure, I can articulate it very well. What I've noticed, a lot of people, they'll tell you what you want to hear to try and get you to like them. But to me, I'm not. If someone likes me, cool. But do I think Callum Smith? Did I think he was going to beat Canelo? Not in my opinion. Do I think John Ryder beat Jacobs the other night? Not in my opinion. Do I think Callum beat John Ryder? In my personal opinion, I think Ryder won that fight. Not that I mean to come across as rude, but one of the big problems, as you say, when people are lying, and here's another great point. Let me ask you this one. I'm sure you're going to love this. A lot of people, what I notice in boxing, they come up with unrealistic comments. When they say things about fighters, you can only do the best you can. And when they're saying a fighter quit or this or that, say you look at Roy Jones, prime Roy Jones against David Telesco, like, see, after a few rounds, Telesco's never going to win that fight. And as I said, these fights that I've mentioned, Canelo versus Khan, Khan was never going to win that fight. But when you're lying to us, as you said, when you're trying to create that narrative and anything could happen. I mean, I could fight Mike Tyson tomorrow. Anything could happen, but as soon as he clips me on the chin. So the question I'm trying to say, can we see a change in this thing in boxing where obviously people are creating fake narratives? Like, we all know Khan Brook, I don't mean to go on, we know they're years past their best. I still want to see the fight, but
100%.
We're not stupid. Don't lie to us.
Exactly. I think that's it. Just before I go on, now the who has happened and it's 2 years gone, go on and watch Smith Ryder again without the commentary on and tell me who thought won.
I'll take another look.
Okay, yeah, no problem. As far as 100%. And like I said, Khan Brook this weekend, I said it the other day, and it wasn't a dig at anyone or anything else. I just felt this weekend is a pay-per-view that years ago you'd be out and everyone would go, shit, I'm going home, the boxing's on.
Yeah.
Make sure to go home and watch it. We've had pay-per-views of the past on all platforms that haven't been there, and they've abused the model. Where this one, I do feel like Mayweather and Pacquiao. Yeah, it was past its best, but everyone tuned in to watch it. And the same this, everyone's got to tune and watch it because you still don't know. And it's bragging rights. We've had an awful lot of fights that never happened. All right, we had Macklin, Darren Barker didn't happen. We didn't have Froch Kawasaki didn't happen. We didn't have Lewis versus Bowe. Kawasaki, Froch, Hatton, Witter. Loads that didn't happen. So let's be grateful that it is happening and it is a good fight. And hopefully this sets. Listen, last weekend Drew Brent Williams. This now next weekend Taylor Cattrall. Let's hopefully now this carries on for the remainder of the year. But it's. It's caught Adam Smith. There's interesting times ahead.
Well, look, last question I'll ask you for today. I don't want to take up too much time. With me, I bring a very different approach to boxing, and once I start getting to know people, I want to try and change their mentalities and just accept the truth, be more different. And
okay, just pause. Listen to what you were saying. You said something before. You've done this. All right, and I said, don't change who you are. Don't change what you're doing, or to change your narrative or how you interview to suit other people. And I say it all the time, just be yourself. Just be yourself. There's too many people trying to be something that they're not, and it's just, you've got to be yourself. And people say to me, oh, you don't give a fuck, you just say how it is. No, because I'm just being true to myself. I'm not trying to do this or do that, and I'll say the same to you. Just be true to yourself, just stick to yourself. As long as you go to bed at night thinking, no, that's my way of doing it, my way of interviewing isn't that way. I'm not got to not ask the right questions just because I'm not got to get accreditation. I'm not asking the right questions because I'm asking the right questions. And you just stay true to yourself, and as long as you stay true to yourself, things happen. And that's what you've got to do.
Yeah, I mean, the quickest way I can explain it, if I lie to people, this is what I'm going to say, it's not going to achieve anything. Because, like, take Katie Taylor. there's no way she doesn't stand a chance against me in a public speaking contest. I'm very confident. You can put me up in front of an audience, I can talk. Could I beat her in a fight? Not the level I'm boxing now. I've boxed white collar. If I say Katie Taylor's a great public speaker, but we know she's not. So if I lie to you, if I say you're better than you actually are, it's not going to do you any favours. You know. But last quick question I'll ask you. Something I'm trying to do in boxing, I'm trying to do something different. Over the years, I've actually sparred loads of pros on camera. I've sparred Tyson Fury, loads of others. I sparred Kell Brook about 4 months ago. I got on camera. He dropped me about 4 times with body shots. And I think KSI sparred Callum Smith years ago, didn't he?
It was
I saw that.
It was just a light move around for a KSI publication on a record or something, so they just took images from it, but it was just like
a move around.
Yeah.
So the quick question I'm going to ask, over the next sort of 2 years or maybe a little longer, I'm going to try and get into as many gyms as I can, try and film training with fighters and move around if they're willing to do it. And I want to try and write a book about it, and I think it's interesting for the general public. It's a different perspective. I mean, I'm probably the only man in boxing willing to actually, I don't even mind sparring women. Some people think it's a great idea, some people think it's a bit silly. What's your advice? Do you think this is something that can work?
I think you'd have to be careful about sparring with the pros, because I'm surprised, unless you have a professional licence, that, as you say, it must be just a move around and a touch, but you've got to be careful, because as licence holders, you can get in trouble for that. But yeah, listen, it's a different way of looking at things. Going into a gymnasium. I think Tris Dixon did it years and years ago when he was touring America, was in and out of gyms and built up great relationships with people. Yeah, but I don't think it's why not. Listen, you've always got to think outside of the box and try something different, and that's what appeals to people. Otherwise, do you know what I mean, we'd only have one Harrods, we wouldn't have a Harvey Nicks or a Selfridges. So you've got to, change is always good, and that's what you need to do. Good luck with it.
I done it years ago, and last thing I'll say, about 2012, I sparred Brandon Rios, Kelly Pavlik, Tyson Fury. I sparred Sandy Ryan, and I was telling Clifton Mitchell, let me spar, she's a woman, I can take her. He said she'll beat me up, and she did. And that's when I stopped. Because I thought, if a woman can do that to me, I just thought...
No, there's some very...
I was different then.
No, there's unbelievable talent, female talent coming through at the moment, and they're such a great joy to train. The discipline, their attention to detail, the dedication is right up there, if not better than a lot of the men that I've trained. As far as like Natasha Jonas, who I've trained up to now, she's just unbelievable. She shames half the men.
I've noticed that, and plus it's a lot easier to make fights with them.
Yeah, that's what, especially with Natasha, with a young girl coming to the gymnasium with a daughter and do childminding and all that stuff, and she's in and putting the work in as hard and studies. I'll ask Natasha to study something, she'll reply back within the hour, watched it, and we'll have that dialogue. I ask other people to watch it, going at big fights, and they never watch it, and just think, well, how can we be on the same thing? If I'm telling you, explaining you at the moment, say on Netflix at the moment, what's on Netflix? Oh, the Tinder swindler. All right, I can tell you all about that, and you have an idea, but you won't really grasp it unless you watch it yourself.
Of course, yeah.
So I'll tell you to go and watch an opponent. I'm not asking a full fight, but I'll give you little snippets. Watch that round and watch that round. Come back to me. So if you never do, then how do you fully understand what I'm trying to get across to you? If that makes sense. So there you go. That's a big problem in boxing as well.
But yeah, I've taken up enough of your time, and
no problem.
Hopefully I'll visit yourself and Tasha in the gym.
Yeah, no problem, Sound. No problem. Cheers, Sound.
Take care, Joel.
No problem.